We'll start over again. You guys actually missed the best part of the episode. Giorgio wasn't recording. He wasn't ready.
You're going to make some claim that I said something I didn't, right?
He
Is that
wasn't.
what this is all leading to?
Well, hold on.
You're telegraphing. Hurry up and get to the point. Let's go. I got shit to do.
Shut up. Anyways, Giorgio wasn't ready, and I started the podcast without him recording the same way that the jiu-jitsu match is going to start before he even knows we're starting. Like, that is where it's at. Like, we're going to come in there, and Giorgio's still going to be in his street clothes. Like, he's going to get out of his car, and I'm going to be riding with him, and as soon as he puts it in park, I'm going to fucking start choking him out.
Like, when he parks the car, you're going to pop up in the back seat over his shoulder.
Well, I'm going to ride. I'm going to have him drive me there. I'm going to be in the back seat sitting behind him.
Well, it'd be a lot cooler if you snuck into the car.
Yeah.
And he didn't know, and then you pop up in the rearview mirror like a horror movie.
Yeah, or that's how, Giorgio has a gun there and shoots somebody.
Giorgio doesn't have a gun, I promise you.
You don't own a gun? Why?
No one's given me one yet. That's where he is. So,
are you on welfare?
No, he makes 6 figures, so there's no excuse really. I mean, there's a sword there and a fucking flamethrower over here.
Yeah, we got flamethrowers and shit, but you. Oh God, you're one of those. And also, you guys missed it before Giorgio started recording. I think Dan also paid him. Dan told me he wanted to marry me.
No.
You did.
I don't believe in gay marriage or marriage of any kind. I'm against it. Well, that's not true. I think that...
no, you can't be just against gay marriage. Like, if you're against gay marriage, you're against any marriage.
Well, I'm also against gay murder. And regular murder.
What?
See? Fucking, you just got owned, bitch. No, I think that marriage should be a 5-year contract. You have to go renew it every time.
So stupid.
Instead of permanent. Why is that stupid? That makes a lot more sense than the system we have now.
So my question, I got a question for you.
I'm sure you do.
So what do you think about, like, have you seen all these interviews Rittenhouse is doing now?
Yeah, it's cringy as fuck. Yeah. To be honest. Like, he's being paraded around as a celebrity. Elijah Schaefer is like, tell me about your thick girl's fucking Twitter handle. Like, oh, cool. I thought you were like a super Jesus freak, bro. What happened? It's weird, bizarre to me that he's now making the rounds doing this stuff. I think it's making a lot of people feel uncomfortable, frankly. Yeah. But, he's do what you want. I don't care. I like the kid. I think he's a good kid. So my fear is that he's going to be taken advantage of by people in the media that are trying to exploit him, and he doesn't understand that yet, right?
Oh, yeah, he's going to get fucked over.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully he doesn't sign any bad business deals. That's the thing.
That's not what's going to get him. What's going to get him is fucking a girl, like somebody setting him up, getting him on charges like that.
Yeah.
That's what, like, somebody's going to set him up.
Just the climate we're in today.
Yeah.
And you'll have heard some of this stuff on Wednesday's episode with Deborah So, the sex researcher that we'll be interviewing, or that we interviewed, rather. It's for a young person that is of any notoriety, it's particularly dangerous. So I hope that, I don't know who his quote-unquote team is, like who's managing his shit. If it's his attorney, hopefully it's not his family. Because I don't know where his dad is in the whole thing, but his mom let him go to that situation in the first place. And while I don't think he did anything wrong, I think that if it were my kid, he would not have been there, right? Or if he was there, I would have been there. Which is, I mean, a mother probably wouldn't feel that way, but fuck, man. At any rate, hopefully he's not being taken advantage of in any kind of way that's going to be permanent. That's what troubles me, because I don't think he's a bad kid at all. He seemed like he's got a very strong sense of civic duty, which is something that we should encourage, that kind of thing, but not like turn him into a hero and fill his head with a bunch of bullshit.
It's kind of like a wave, right? So I got the Medal of Honor. Everybody loved me.
You won it, right? Is that what people say?
I won it, yeah. Everybody loved me.
Yeah.
Like,
everybody wants a piece of you. They don't love you.
Well, they act, but I'm saying like the media even all good about me.
Yeah.
And, bro, it's like the more good, the longer the good goes. It's kind of like the roller coaster, like when you're on the going up. And it's like, dude, this is awesome. This is fucking awesome. This is fucking awesome. And, bro, as soon as one person has the balls to talk shit about you, everybody jumps in. And it just fucking is like it is like a punching bag, and it just never stops. Like they build you up just as high as they can to just sit there and try to beat you fucking down. And they criticize every fucking thing that you do. Like you take for example me. You know, people are like, you're a Medal of Honor recipient. Your standards should be higher than that. Bitch, I used to kill people.
Yeah, why would your standards be higher?
I used to kill people.
What do they mean by standard exactly?
Like, oh, you should what do they say to me? Oh, you with that medal around your neck, you're obligated to do this. Motherfucker, I ain't obligated to do nothing. I didn't ask for it. You know what I mean? Oh, I could show you emails of just but it's just crazy the entitlement that people get to you. So I just hope that the kid is really, I hope he figures it out.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, my sincere desire is that he doesn't get taken advantage of or have anything irreparable done. But I'm not very hopeful on that front, to be honest.
It's kind of cringy, though. Anyways, and I'll tell you how you know his team sucks. Because a good team wouldn't be letting him do what the fuck he's doing.
No, certainly not. I don't know what the hell they're thinking, to be honest. It's very bizarre.
But that's not what we're here to talk about. As Dan usually tells me after about 5 minutes of rambling on, he usually reminds the show that what I'm talking about is not what he wants to talk about. So I wanted to remind you, Dan, that I don't give a fuck what you're saying. That's not what this show's about today.
Cool. What is it about?
It's about the Maxwell trial.
Vernon Maxwell?
Yeah.
The basketball player?
Yeah. Ghislaine.
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
I'm a doctor.
A doctor of what?
Of everything.
No.
Of second opinions. Prove it. Prove that I'm not.
What did you write your thesis on?
Well, I wrote it on.
You wrote it. You should write a second opinion on somebody else's thesis and then say, I'm applying for a doctorate of second opinions. That's really stupid, but it might work in today's retarded academia. You might actually get away with, like the way Bogosian and James Lindsay got away with writing all those fake papers. Did you, like, one of them was, if you guys didn't see him when he was on the show on Drinker Bros, one of the papers they wrote was about how dog parks are a sign of rape culture, like the way that dogs are just allowed to hump each other at dog parks are a sign that we're just comfortable with rape as a society.
What?
They wrote that as a joke, and it got peer-reviewed and put into a fucking academic journal, even though they made it up. That's where academia is these days.
Dude, I'll tell you this. Like, so I know the Chive guys. I know you don't like them, but anyways,
I don't dislike the Chive guys. What are you talking about?
When they wrote that.
I like chives too. The little green onions.
When they made that little that receipt, they started fake news.
Oh yeah, yeah. They
did that Donald Trump receipt.
It was them, and then. Who was before it was them, then the Onion, which is funny because the Onion, the Chive, weird.
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
And then Babylon Bee, obviously, which we're gonna have on Monday. We're gonna have on Drinker Bros the co-founder and editor-in-chief of the Babylon Bee on the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that'll be fun. Those guys are hilarious.
But they made. Do you remember that? Do you remember that receipt?
Yeah.
They made that Donald Trump gave. Like it was so fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Donald Trump
funny.
Actually had him in and talked to him about that one time.
Anyways,
that's not what we're here to talk about.
Ghislaine Maxwell. On November 29th, Ghislaine Maxwell was finally put on trial for her alleged involvement in a sex trafficking ring run by her former boyfriend, I guess, Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know what that relationship was like.
We've been I haven't figured out that whole situation yet.
Like her brother says that she's being
exploited.
A patsy, being handed up as a patsy or whatever, but anyways, Maxwell is accused of recruiting girls and even participating in the sexual abuse carried out by Epstein, who famously didn't commit suicide while in custody in 2019, as you may have heard from our good friend Mike Ritland on Fox News. Which is really funny. Huh? Remember when Mike was on Fox News?
Oh, I'd say he didn't kill himself?
Yeah, it was after they were talking about
the dogs.
The dogs,
that dog in that raid.
Yeah, he was like, hey, these dogs are cool and shit, but can you guys not go out and buy a bunch of working dogs and then keep them in a crate inside of your house and not let them work? Anyways.
And they said, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Epstein didn't kill himself. Which is if you know Mike, that's no surprise that he did that.
Oh, no.
And he would do it again if he had the chance. As a matter of fact, CNN called him to be on after some other dog thing about a month ago. And it was right around the time that I did his show. And he was like, yeah, if I get on there, I'm going to say that Ghislaine Maxwell probably didn't kill herself, too.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do this. So Epstein had been accused of trafficking and sexually abusing at least 36 young girls. Ghislaine, who is the daughter of former MP in Britain, member of Parliament, Robert Maxwell, a member of Parliament is the same as a congressperson here, was an associate of Epstein since being introduced to him by her father in the late 80s. So I don't know if Robert Maxwell is still alive. Let's look that up.
So she is currently facing 6 charges.
He died in 91. Wait, the fuck? He's from fucking Czechoslovak Republic and died in Spain. Wow, that's weird. Anyways, she's currently facing 6 charges which relate to the accusations that she facilitated the sexual exploitation of girls by Epstein. 1 count of enticement of a minor to travel and engage in illicit sex acts. 1 count of transportation of a minor with intent to engage in illicit sex acts. 1 count of sex trafficking a minor, and 3 counts of conspiracy. If convicted on all counts, Maxwell faces up to 70 years in prison. Once this trial concludes, Maxwell will be tried in a separate trial for 2 counts of perjury in relation to her lying under oath during the 2016 deposition of Jeffrey Epstein. So regardless of what happens in this trial, she has to go back to trial for perjury. Don't you think it's weird? A woman that's facing this amount of jail time hasn't, she actually let it go to trial and didn't try to plea out by naming names. That makes me think that the Department of Justice didn't even ask. How did this go to trial? If you're facing, that the public is against you, one. You're facing very serious charges with the little black book and 3 corroborating witness statements from the victims themselves, plus the pilot, establishing a timeline and all this stuff, and you still don't try to plea out. So she's either afraid of for her life or somebody else's life.
I think it's over.
Or
I think she's getting out as soon as it's over.
If she gets out, I hope she dies immediately.
She's getting out. I think it's
ass cancer.
I think she's already gave up the names, and I think it's time served.
Maybe if we get those names, but I still think that somebody should kill her afterwards.
I agree.
Like the government. I think that the Department of Justice should announce, if that is the case, that she's cooperated and she's going to be released with time served, and then as soon as she walks out the front steps of the prison, just shoot her in the back of the fucking head for the entire world to see and say, we don't tolerate people raping children anymore.
For sure.
That'd be great. So some of the weird stuff that's happened so far is in a co-conspirator list. Recently, a list of alleged co-conspirators began circulating online through social media before being picked up by some news outlets because they don't fact-check anything anymore. They just post whatever looks cool. The list of co-conspirators included Harvey Weinstein, Kanye West, and R. Kelly. 2 of those people, it wouldn't be any surprise if they were involved in this shit, right? But no evidence to that effect. Although a real court document, this list has been proven to be related to a 2020 civil suit filed by a Texas woman who claimed she was trafficked by Epstein and multiple other high-profile individuals. The suit was thrown out after the court determined that the woman's claims were unfounded. So if you're hearing that Weinstein, Kanye West, or R. Kelly are involved, they are not, unless we see further evidence that they are. All right, so day 1 of the trial. The prosecution's opening statement. So the trial started. This is, by the way, this whole episode is just to catch everybody up to speed on what's happened so far. We're recording this on Tuesday, so by Friday when this publishes, there may be more information. We'll try to catch back up next week.
It's been kind of hard to track.
Yeah, because it's not televised, so it is. is a bit difficult. The trial began with opening statements and testimony from one of the pilots who flew the so-called Lolita Express, Jeffrey Epstein's private jet. In their opening statements, prosecutor Laura Pomerantz sketched out how evidence would show that Maxwell helped Epstein traffic and sexually abuse teenage girls over multiple years. They then told the story of one accuser, known only by the pseudonym Jane, who met Maxwell and Epstein in 1994. The prosecution alleges that Maxwell was Epstein's partner in crime who earned Jane's trust with shopping trips and, quote, helped normalize abusive sexual conduct, end quote, at the hands of Epstein. One of the things that she's accused of doing, Maxwell's accused of doing, is undressing in front of the woman as well, and then telling her to undress like it's normal. And then it's grooming. This is classic grooming stuff. And then they've fucked Epstein together, I guess. Pomerantz told the jurors the defendant and Epstein made young girls believe that their dreams could come true. The defendant being Ghislaine Maxwell. They made them feel special, but that was a cover behind closed doors. The defendant and Epstein were committing heinous crimes. They were sexually abusing teenage girls. I'm really a bit miffed by how Maxwell would have gotten involved in this in the first place. I mean, imagine a very powerful congressperson's daughter getting involved in something like this, and she's the second person and not the leader or something. That's weird.
I mean, she's trafficked too.
I think there's a pretty good chance that Ghislaine Maxwell has Stockholm syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's trafficked. What happened is I bet she became dating Epstein, and then Epstein just turned her into, fucking her over, and then started,
she's just his bottom bitch. That's it.
Well, she's
for lack of a better
she's
phrase,
the fall bitch, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I guarantee he's like, look, you leave me, you don't do this, like these girls are gonna go tell on you.
Yeah,
you're going down for this. You know what I mean? I guarantee you.
Probably. I mean, and some people speculate that was his thing all along. It wasn't just about sex, but it was about using all of this to compromise world leaders, like Prince Andrew, for example. So he could use that against them to make
money,
business deals. The defense's opening statements, the attorney there is Bobby C. Sternum. I believe it's a woman because it's Bobby with an I, which is smart to not have the defense attorney be a man. They did that. They definitely did that intentionally. Excuse me. Sternum told jurors that recollections from witnesses like Jane were not to be trusted. Sternum suggested that the accusers had, quote, unreliable and suspect, end quote, memories that could have become corrupted by recent media reports. That's a pretty weak defense. The defense also suggested the accusers were motivated by a desire to make money from a possible civil action against Epstein.
How's that going to work after he's dead?
Yeah, well, he's got an estate still, I would imagine, but I don't know who the conservator of that estate is. Sternum went on to say, quote, each accuser's story is thin. They have been impacted by lawyers, by the media, by the things they have read and things they have heard, by money, big bucks. The defense has also insinuated that Maxwell was being used as a scapegoat due to Epstein's alleged suicide, leaving, quote, a gaping hole in the pursuit of justice. Ever since Eve was accused of tempting Adam with the apple, women have been blamed for the bad behavior of men. Holy shit, dude. You're going all the way back to Adam and Eve? That's your fucking defense?
Bro, is that...
God damn, dude.
Hey, listen, if you got to go back to your reference of case law, it's fucking Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean...
That's rough.
Holy shit. Hey.
That is pretty fucking rough right there. So the closing of day one was the pilot.
This is pretty interesting.
Yeah, Lawrence Visosky, I guess is how you say that. He was the first witness, former pilot of the Lolita Express, as it's called. Lawrence Visosky worked for the dead pedophile from 1991 until 2019. So he stuck around for the long haul there.
And you think he didn't do anything?
Yeah. He described the role Maxwell played in managing Epstein's household and properties and described their relationship as being quote-unquote couple-ish, whatever that means. I guess they presented as a couple. The pilot also described ferrying Epstein and his guests to various luxury residences in New York, Paris, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Palm Beach, and Santa Fe. He also denied any knowledge of the sexual abuse and claimed he had never seen any evidence of sexual activity while flying the jet. Now, that's probably true because...
He's shut off.
Yeah, he's in the cockpit, A, and 2, sexual assault doesn't happen in front of other people. Like you see, just think about women you know that have been abused. They don't get abused in public typically. The man is nice in public and then a shitbag behind closed doors. That's more or less always how that goes.
And like you're exact opposite. You're a shithead to me in public, but real nice to me behind closed doors.
It's really weird when you say things like that.
Do you think that's weird, Giorgio? No. Say Giorgio doesn't think it's weird.
What the fuck are you doing in the corner of the room? You taking notes? Yes. Better knock it off. What are you, a fucking cop or something?
Are you a cop?
I'm going to start accusing all of our producers of being cops.
I think Giorgio is a cop.
You writing down what I say, bitch? Fuck you. So, day 2, long day. The first accuser testified. And by the way, the defense is trying to play off this very real idea that eyewitness testimony is not very good. It's usually about 35% accurate. But that's with regard to like skin color and height and the color of a car, the type of car or something like that. When somebody witnesses an incident or maybe is even involved in it, eyewitness testimony is pretty unreliable. But when somebody's getting raped, not the case, obviously. So they're drawing a false distinction between the two, just to point that out. So the first of 4 women described as key accusers testified on the second day of the trial. The accuser, Jane, who we mentioned before, testified that Maxwell was often in the room when she was being abused by Epstein and that Maxwell's demeanor during the sexual assault was, quote, very casual, like it was no big deal, which, to be honest, sounds a lot like your theory is correct, that she's completely institutionalized. Yeah. Epstein's abuse of Jane, and by the way, that's not to make an excuse for Ghislaine Maxwell. All of us has suffered quite a bit, some more than others, but everybody suffers to some degree, and if your response to your own personal suffering is to
make others suffer,
to coordinate, I guess, the suffering of others, then you're a piece of shit that deserves to die. Epstein's abuse of Jane began in 1994 when she was attending music camp and continued through 1997. So it's not like if it was one instance of 2 people in college and the guy thought he had consent and the girl said he didn't 30 years ago. It's like, all right, that's not really something that you can prosecute. But sexual abuse that took place over the course, grooming and sexual abuse that took place over the course of 3 or 4 years is a completely different story. And that idea that her testimony or her memory is not good because of it, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Jane told the jury that Maxwell instructed her on how to give Epstein sexual massages and occasionally physically participated. During cross-examination, defense attorney Laura Menninger, another woman, so I guess all the Ghislaine Maxwells, all the defense attorneys that are going to speak in public are probably female for reason, right? Yeah. There's a reason for that. Because a man telling a woman who's a victim of sexual abuse that she's not a victim of sexual abuse doesn't play well in the media. Laura Menninger attacked Jane's credibility as a witness by asking why she waited over 20 years before reporting the abuse. By the way, that never works in rape trials.
No, that's not gonna.
That's an old trope that just doesn't work in rape trials. As well as questioning why Jane had brought 2 personal injury lawyers along to her first meeting with the FBI, probably because those were the only attorneys she knew. The defense questioned whether or not Jane had mentioned Maxwell when telling her siblings and others close to her about Epstein's behavior, to which Jane replied that she did not remember. Menninger also elicited testimony from Jane that she was awarded $5 million from a fund set up to compensate the victims of Epstein, of which she has received $2.9 million after attorney fees. So this woman has already been paid, and she's still showing up to the prosecution. That doesn't sound like somebody that's looking for money. She's already got the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if a professional athlete signs a contract, big contract, and stops working hard, then you know it was all about the money for them. If they come out and have an even better season in their first year of a contract, that's usually a really good sign. And somebody that shows up and goes through all this shit, at least quasi-publicly, I feel like that's a pretty good sign that they're on the level. Not that we're trying to adjudicate the case or anything. I'm just saying. All right, day 3. Jane's testimony continues on day 3. Defense attorney for Maxwell attempted to cast doubt on her story by questioning her family and financial situation. Again, Laura Menninger suggested that Jane, who is now a working actress, was only using her acting skills and a performance motivated by financial gain. Man, that's rough.
That is rough.
That's rough to come out against the first person giving testimony and say that since you're an actor, you're acting like you got raped.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Menninger also used her cross-examination to focus on what Jane told federal investigators in 2019 and 2020 about the sexual abuse she faced at the hands of Maxwell and Epstein. The defense lawyer implied that those recounts differed from what she testified about the previous day, asking 2 years later, now you remember that Ghislaine called your home to make appointments. That memory has come back to you in the past 2 years. Prosecutor Allison Moe later questioned Jane, asking her what it meant to be awarded $5 million from a fund set up to compensate the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Jane replied, I wish I would have never received that money in the first place. Hopefully this just puts it to an end and I can move on with my life. That part is interesting about the phone call because you should be able to find the records for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it either happened or it did not happen, right? So I feel like that should be something that's pretty easy for the defense to either disprove or for the prosecution to corroborate. I don't know why that hasn't happened. Maybe it will later. Although, I don't know if you could... It depends on what the defense submitted during discovery. If they submitted this as a question they were going to ask and the prosecution had a chance to go find that information, they can't introduce that evidence now. That would be a big mistake. On day 4, this is an interesting one too. Epstein's butler / driver testifies. On Epstein's telephone directory, the little black book, containing names and numbers for a large number of his wealthy and powerful friends, was brought out as evidence. The book was introduced as the prosecution's witness, Juan Alessi, a butler and driver at Epstein's Florida home, was on the stand. Alessi described the atmosphere around a mansion, which he said was run like a high-class hotel. He said there were many...
Yeah, this one was pretty good.
Yeah. He said there were many partially nude women who hung around Epstein's pool on a regular basis. I assume partially nude means with their titties out, right?
Probably, yeah.
Like
Topless.
what else? Yeah. Alessi also said Maxwell was, quote, the lady of the house, end quote, and regularly took photos of the topless women to display in frames on her desk at the house. So Ghislaine Maxwell was taking pictures of the Cabana girls and then putting them in frames on her desk in her office. That's weird.
That's pretty weird.
Pretty weird. The former butler said Maxwell was obviously in charge of running the household and slept with Epstein in his bedroom. So Alessi also said he drove the previous witness, Jane, to Epstein's house and to the Palm Beach airport where he saw Jane board the Lolita Express along with Epstein and Maxwell. So if indeed the woman Jane was underage at the time, the trafficking charge sticks right there. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Along with the previous testimony, Alessi described to many people who would come to the house to give Epstein massages, roughly 98% of which were women. So that means 2% of these people who who were coming to Epstein's house to massage him were dudes, I guess, or something other than male or female, which I'm not sure what that would be.
Isn't that weird? Like how a lot of these guys are into both.
No, that's like typical aristocracy shit.
Is it?
Yeah, you fuck so much you get tired of fucking, so it's like, got to try something new.
Really?
Yeah, have you not read a history book before? People throughout, like aristocracies throughout history are pieces of shit. Anyways,
damn. Don't talk shit to me. I'll tell you what's not a piece of shit, though.
What's that?
That's a fucking ghost bed. Yeah.
Yeah?
Best bed that was ever made on the planet Earth. Best
I'm actually going to
recoil
record I'm going to record a commercial in the ghost bed later, actually right after this show, in the Grinch outfit.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think. I don't remember if I brought it or not.
The recoil on that thing, man, is just awesome. They got the mattress protector. They have the cooling sheets and cooling pillowcases. 40% off on the bundles. Ghost Bed's just so awesome. They have 101 nights sleep, no questions asked. Send it back. You know, we should have them send the used ones here.
Oh no, that's gross. I don't know why you would even say that,
dude. You sleep in my used bed?
No.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, they have a 20-year warranty, which is absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go check them out. Ghostbed.com/drinkingbros. That's ghostbed.com/drinkingbros. If you really care about your family, you'll get them a ghost bed for Christmas. And they also have a pay-as-you-go. And I will also say this, as a doctor of second opinions, no one that we know of has died of COVID sleeping in a ghost bed.
That's right, yeah, and no one's died of COVID while drinking Cardimax.
Yeah, nobody.
It's a time of year when you wake up with a cough, a sore throat, or another annoying symptom for no apparent reason other than it got a little colder. It's viral season, so Cardimax Immune Booster will help keep your body at 100%. Uses all natural ingredients and increases the body's ability to adapt to stressors, increase muscle endurance, and provide other immune system benefits. Owned and operated by former Navy SEAL and fellow drinking bro Sean Matson, Cardimax Immune Booster comes in an easy-to-mix liquid packet in 2 great flavors, orange and watermelon. It tastes great, and it's made by a veteran and drinking bros. So Cardimax is offering American Party an exclusive offer, 30% off your next 4 orders. Go to cardimax.com. Use the promo code AMERICAN. That is CARDOMAX.com. Use the promo code AMERICAN, and you will get 30% off your next 4 orders. That's cardimax.com, helping you achieve your max.
Yeah, and again, as a doctor of second opinions, we have no confirmed cases of anyone dying after drinking Cardimax.
Well, I mean, I drank a bunch and murdered a couple of people one time, but that's not the same thing. They didn't die from the Cardimax. They died from me.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people have.
Exactly. So, yeah. Anyways.
So after some of the massages, when Alessi would clean up the massage room near the table, he would find, quote, a large dildo like a man's penis but with 2 heads, which is dope. After washing the dildo, which is, I mean, this guy is a fucking professional butler. If I'm a maid or house cleaner or whatever the appropriate term is these days, and I come across things that have been inside people, I'm walking away. Maybe even burn the house down. That this guy just washed it. So he said after washing it, he would place it in a basket in Maxwell's bathroom where it was always kept. So that's got to be a clue. If you're a visitor at their home there in Florida and you walk into the bathroom and there's a giant Kong double-sided dildo, it might be time to fucking leave.
You think?
Yeah. The book of names, the little black book, and addresses was then presented to Alessi, who identified it as the kind of address book that would be at Epstein's home, and that he recognized many of the name entries. Near the end of his testimony, Alessi said he left the job with Epstein due to the exhaustive checklist of tasks made for him by Maxwell and the way she treated him while he was working, which it seems like he was the only person in that house not getting fucked. That's got to wear on your self-esteem. Like, you don't want to be the one person not getting banged and then having to wash the double-sided dildo.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fucked up, man. It's not very egalitarian, I'll say that. not to bring politics into it. Okay, day 5. Police testify about the Palm Beach home because they've been called there a couple times. So this is weird. Day 5 of the trial revealed a detailed look at one of Epstein's massage tables. Near the end of the day, the prosecution brought in a large green folding massage table and had it inspected by retired Palm Beach police officer Gregory Parkinson, which is an unfortunate last name. Parkinson identified it as the massage table he had photographed as evidence during a 2005 search of Epstein's home. I don't know how you could identify one from the other unless it's like got his name written on it or some shit.
Well, so he actually said how he knew it was it. Like he went up and inspected it for like 15 minutes.
Did he smell it?
I don't know.
I would have smelled it.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can know for sure. Massages and massage tables have been cited several times during the first week of the trial, and this is the prosecution putting that concrete evidence right in front of people. Like, here is where the abuse took place. That's what they're trying to do.
Just all show.
They're trying to put that in the jury's head. So the jury was also shown a video that Parkinson took while searching the Palm Beach property in 2005 where the massage table was found. The final witness of the day was Sergeant Michael Dawson, which is a much better last name, a detective at Palm Beach Police Department who took part in the 2005 search as well. Among the items Dawson found in the search was a large sex toy called the Twin Torpedo, which matches the description of the sex toy Alessi would find near the massage table. I would use Chrome Incognito for that search, my man.
Why?
Because you're going to get weird fucking ads.
How do you use Incognito?
The 3 little dots in the top right.
New Incognito window?
There you go.
Dang, okay, let's check this out. What's it called?
The Twin Torpedo, excuse me. Yeah. When asked if anything had, quote, stood out about the property, Dawson noted that some of the computer monitors did not have accompanying towers, as well as noting that the house was filled with photographs of nude women. Do you find it?
Yeah, it's pretty boring, bro.
I mean, it's just a double-sided dildo, right?
No, it's like
everybody right now out there in the universe is Googling Twin Torpedo.
It's like it's a vibrator.
Is it not even a big one?
No.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's disappointing. So it's not as big as we thought. So Alessi maybe should have just kept his job. I don't know.
It's a... It looks like a... It's called... well, I don't know. All I'm seeing is... Let me see. Let's Google this one.
Yeah, look it up.
I'm still trying to look. Yeah, I mean, it's a double. Yeah, no, it's a double-headed.
I mean, when I searched Twin Torpedo, one of the first results is a goddamn actual torpedo.
Yeah.
So that's not helpful at all.
No.
What is this? Safe search or some shit? Sex toy.
There's a double-decker. Thing's weird.
Twin turbo bullets. No, that's not it.
Yeah.
We're going to spend the rest of the show looking for sex toys, so... maybe.
How'd you find that?
I thought it said it was on a head on either end of it. That's... yeah, that looks right.
How did you find that?
In my cart.
Yeah, it was in his Adam and Eve cart. Anyways.
That one you just held up is called the Extreme Doubleheader.
That's like extreme doubleheader, like 2 baseball games in a row.
Yeah.
When it's hot outside.
Ooh.
I don't know what the point of any of this stuff is.
You want to try it?
No. So day 6, after the police had testified, day 6, Kate's testimony. This is another pseudonym of one of the victims, the second victim so far to take the stand. Kate is not considered a minor victim in the charges due to her being over the age of consent at the time of the alleged abuse, but jurors are still allowed to consider her testimony. Kate testified that she first met Maxwell when she was 17 through her older boyfriend while on a trip to Paris. Maxwell invited her for tea at her London townhome, and a few weeks later told Kate about her boyfriend, Epstein, who she described as a philanthropist who Maxwell thought would help Kate with her aspiring music career. One of the notes in here is if you're a fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Charlie goes on a date with a woman, a blind date with a woman one time, where he's trying to get over the waitress or whatever, and he's trying to call himself a philanthropist, but he keeps saying full-on rapist, which would be certainly more appropriate in this case. Kate told the court that she understood that Maxwell's job was to take care of Epstein's needs. A few weeks later, Maxwell introduced Kate to Epstein and encouraged her to massage his feet and shoulders. How does that conversation take place? Like, you're all just hanging out. It's like, you know what you should do is go massage this dude's feet. If anybody ever told me that, I would cut the guy's feet off because that's disgusting. Feet are gross. 2 or 3 weeks after their initial encounter, Maxwell convinced Kate to give Epstein another massage, during which Epstein first initiated a sex act with her. A few days later, Maxwell brought Kate back to her townhome again, where she was once again coerced in performing sex acts with Epstein. Kate also testified that Maxwell would often brag about her and Epstein's high-profile friends, such as Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, and Prince Andrew. I don't see how any of that's relevant, to be honest. I mean, she's presumably an 18-year-old woman at that point who's an aspiring musician and actress or whatever the fuck, and she's fucking an older rich dude to try to get into the business. That's not uncommon, and I don't see how this is. I don't see how this is relevant to this case at all. Maybe they're gonna.
But again, on some of this, like, I don't know. Like, again, I don't know all the details, right? And I don't know the mindset. But like, how do you keep doing this over years?
What do you mean from his perspective or hers? Like, keep going back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand either.
Like, obviously I get it, right? Especially, but like, if it's something like an environment you can't help, like that you're going to.
Yeah, if it's like abuse inside of your family and shit like that.
Yeah, like inside your family or in a home or like, where a friend comes over and is like around your family. But this is the piece that I don't understand with this is like, how?
Well, this woman was probably going back because she still thought he could help her. Or at some point,
that's what I'm saying.
At some point, she's engaged with it so much that now he's like, well, if you don't come back, I'm going to hurt your career, which, it always flips at some point.
For sure.
But who knows what the first 6 months of that, who knows what that looks like. I don't know.
Right.
If this would be a much more, and I'm not saying anything to the credibility of this woman or whether or not Epstein is a piece of shit or Maxwell, because I think they're both fucking pieces of shit, or ex-piece of shit and current piece of shit. But this one seems more like just classic older rich man taking advantage of naive younger woman.
And here's what I like, and the only reason I'm bringing this point up is because I'm pointing out what the prosecutors are not doing a good job of.
Yeah.
They're not doing a good job of painting a picture to us how these girls were being taken advantage of, other than with money. Because there's nothing, like, let's be honest, there is nothing against, like, there's nothing illegal, quote me if I'm wrong or not, but there's nothing illegal for an old man to be promising money and a girl willingly coming to try to get that money and fucking him.
Correct. Yeah.
But what the prosecutors are not doing good at portraying or orchestrating is how was he sexually assaulting them.
Well, this woman in particular. The other women are different because they were all minors.
The other women are different because they're minors. Like, they're minors.
I just don't understand, unless there's more testimony coming from this woman.
And where were their parents at?
Yeah, that's a good question. Unless there's more testimony from this woman specifically, I don't know how this is relevant.
Let's talk about all this too, right? This is what's not being focused on. Well, first off, they have these girls have to have guardians because they're underage, other than the last one, right?
Well, this is the same stuff that came up during the Michael Jackson trial, right?
Well,
where were the parents?
But hold on. But again, like Never Neverland was it was where kids went to. Like it's a whole. We're talking about a different thing. At what point do you think it's a great idea for your 13 or 14-year-old daughter to get on a private jet and be flying? How normal is it?
Well, how normal is it for your fucking 7 to 9-year-old male child to go spend the night with Michael Jackson?
Again, there were a bunch of kids there, right? I don't know.
Sometimes it was just one at a time.
You're getting off because again, was Michael Jackson's kids there? Like, there's a whole lot of
I think it's
that, right? Because
do you remember that there was a part of, it wasn't Borat, but it was one of his other ones where he was auditioning kids for some kind of thing, and he was telling the parents that the kids they were like fucking 3 or 4 years old. He's like, yeah, if they can lose 5 pounds, we'll put them in the thing.
Okay.
And the parents were not only willing, but fucking excited. Like, yeah, she'll lose the weight to do it. Like, these people are pieces of shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, but again, like back to the Michael Jackson thing versus Epstein thing, again, I'm a single dad. Like, kids come over to my house all the time. It's not like it's not looked at. My kids are there. Like,
Michael Jackson,
but again,
has been a noted creep for a long time.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, Epstein. Justify how you would ever let your kids be around Epstein.
It's probably a little worse to send
your kids to a private island.
If it's 13 or 14-year-old only women or 15 and 16-year-old only women, and then they're leaving the country. Yeah, that's weirder.
And what point do all these motherfuckers around him? Even if Donald Trump seen this, Bill Clinton, if he engaged in it, let's just hypothetically speak that they didn't engage in it.
Right.
At what point do me and you get on a private jet with somebody, go into an island where we know we're partying, and look around and say, why the fuck is a 13-year-old on here or a 14-year-old? At what point do you ever think that that's a great idea? And at what point do you sit there and not say a fucking word?
Yeah, that's pretty weird. I mean,
so you know what I want on this? What I think should happen is the flights that these kids were on, the entire manifest should be released.
Yeah, and those people should at least be exposed, if not charged, with endangering a minor, to be honest. I mean, there should be some kind of price to pay for that, in my opinion.
I mean, do you not agree? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, anybody that shows up on those lists is a problem. And you've seen the things that have happened over the last couple of weeks with the resignations of all these CEOs, with Bill Gates going on TV and not being able to answer questions. Like, oh, fucking, I don't know. I'm trying to buy up all the farmland and inject people with weird shit. I don't have time for these questions. What are you talking about? It's very bizarre the way this is all being handled, to be honest. I don't know what the end game is. I mean, it seems like they're just huddling to protect the aristocracy, right? That's typically what happens in these kind of situations. Like, if Harvey Weinstein is wholesale raping people all over the place as an individual and gets caught, they're going to serve him up and everybody's going to pretend like they had no idea and that he's evil, when all of them knew what the fuck was happening, because these rumors have been swirling around Hollywood for 20 years. But when it attacks the real power structures in America and globally, which is the global elite, the political class, and the corporate class, in not just America, but in particularly Western Europe as well, when those things come under fire, then those people will fucking circle the wagons and protect each other. Prince Andrew had a doll of himself made, and he was using it to touch teenage girls with, right? That dude should be buried under a fucking jail somewhere, or fired out of a cannon directly into the fucking sun. But people are protecting him. The British royal family hid him for a while, and the Department of Justice refused to prosecute that motherfucker.
So do you think the family? So here's the question, right? Is the family hiding him because they knew this was going on and didn't say anything, and and he's like, well,
I doubt it.
I go down, you're fucking going down.
I doubt it. No.
So you don't think he ever did this in front of them?
I don't think sexual abuse happens in front of other people.
No, but I'm saying but do you think that people? I mean, there's a difference between sexual abuse. you seeing it versus you being like, well, isn't it kind of weird that 13-year-olds or that young children are going in and out of his bedroom or he's hanging around these young girls?
I remember the great lengths that the royal family, the British royal family, went to protect their image when Diana was dating a non-white dude, right? So I can only imagine what lengths they would go to protect their public image with this situation.
Yeah.
Right. Now, these are different times, obviously. So her dating homeboy these days probably wouldn't be a big deal. But I feel like raping kids is probably always a big deal.
Yeah, it's never going to.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Unless you're out in California, they're trying every chance they get to what was that professor the other day? What did he try to?
He's from Old Dominion.
He wanted to change.
Well, they're using this word, minor attracted person or MAP or phrase.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means that anybody that uses that phrase or
should die.
Yeah, I mean there's only, like in Christianity, there's only one unforgivable sin, right? It's blaspheming the Holy Spirit. I think the one unforgivable sin in the real world should be harming children. If you are found to have harmed children,
dead,
then you need to die. Like, you can't be around. There's no place for you in society.
There really is.
The results of, it's not even about justice, really. The results of damaging children like that permeate through that child's entire life. It makes them more likely to hurt other people when they're older. It is an exponential effect. So that person's got to die.
The one thing that we should agree on, that should be a non-negotiable, non-partisan agreement inside the world, is that we need to protect our children.
You would think that would be a pretty easy thing for everybody to agree on, because it's rooted in the same fundamental ideology that the environmentalist stuff is, right? Like, we have to protect the future, otherwise we won't have anywhere to be. Yeah. So we're more these motherfuckers are more concerned with trying to convince us that the world's going to end in 10 years than they are with protecting children. That seems like a big fucking problem for me.
Yeah.
But what do I know?
Well, so I got a question for you. So I got an email yesterday. I'm doing a casting for it.
Casting couch?
Yeah. No, but it's for a show called Life Raft.
Life Raft, okay.
Have you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
So check it out. Tell me if you guys, Giorgio, I need your opinion on this. You got a mic over there, Giorgio? You don't, loser. What you do is you go 30 days on a raft with different people from different places. The idea is to see if the group will get along no matter where they come from, or will their differences divide or unite them.
So it's the real world.
Kind of like that, probably.
But on a fucking raft.
What do you think?
I think that's dumb as shit.
Dude.
I mean, if you actually let it play out, then it would be fucking interesting, but that's not how it'll work, because I know all about reality television and how unreal.
You think I don't?
Yeah.
You think I don't know about reality TV?
There's nothing realistic.
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, so you just like bad cruise?
You're just like hanging out on a cruise with like people. What do you think?
I'll do it.
You will?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell them.
I don't even want to be in this room with you right now. There's no way I'm going on a raft with you. Fuck that shit. Before we get out of here.
You would end up pregnant.
Probably, yeah. That's why I don't want to go. Before we get out of here, let's catch up on Jussie Smollett.
Dude, this is crazy. We should cover that next week.
We'll cover the whole thing next week, but this shit is fucking hilarious.
Oh, he's crazy, right?
So, a number of things have happened. One of his attorneys said that the judge made a violent movement towards her or some shit like that. Like, what the fuck are you talking? From the bench?
From the bench, right?
What's he going to do? He's like 75 years old. Is he going to jump over there and scissor kick you in the fucking face, you dumb bitch? Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And then they're reading the text messages back. Like, the prosecutor is reading the text messages that he wrote using the N-word. And then Smollett, or however you say his stupid name, he interrupted the prosecutor in mid-sentence asking him to spell or abbreviate the word so as not to offend, quote, every African-American in this room, period, end quote.
He said what?
He told the prosecutor, he interrupted the prosecutor in mid-sentence while the prosecutor...
Jussie did?
Yeah. Like, he's on the stand. He's testifying, and the prosecutor is reading his own text back to him, and he stops the prosecutor mid-sentence to tell him to say N-word instead of what he actually wrote, which is maybe he's right about that, but that's they're really trying to paint him as the victim still, and literally no one believes that.
The guys that beat him up are black guys.
Yep.
I mean, how do you fucking justify this? So let me ask you this. If he gets prosecuted, does BLM, how does BLM get in on this one?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they got to take somebody's side, right?
I mean, dude, how do you get in on this one? Or how do they even skip out on this, right? They're kind of fucked on. This is a trial they're kind of fucked on.
This has been a really fun trial so far because
dude,
so much weird shit has come out. Like the defense attorney saying that that the judge is trying to fight her or whatever the fuck, and then
dude, where he talked about yesterday how he knew these guys before.
Yeah, there's a video of them fucking rehearsing this shit.
There's a video of them rehearsing it?
Yeah, Tamara Walker accuses judge of, quote, lunging at her.
Hold on, where's this one at? Like, I read this yesterday. So now they're saying...
He also allegedly, like, Smollett is saying that he was fucking one of those other dudes, one of those brothers.
Yeah,
I wonder if the other brother knew about that. So now they're going to turn on each other, but they were both fucking him. So you know what I mean? Or something.
So Smollett scolds the white prosecutor for repeating the N-word.
Right.
While reading out his text.
I guess that solves the great debate. If rap songs come on, you just skip that part.
Yeah,
Just hum. Because you don't want to offend Jussie Smollett.
Where's this at? Like the thing that the shit that was so weird yesterday was when they were talking about how they were where's it at? About what all the shit that him and that guy were doing in that room. Like they would get a room together. They'd smoke weed every day after, and they would get they went in and masturbated with each other, and like got a room together, and then they would.
Were they making eye contact or not? Because
used to buy cocaine off of him all the time.
Well, I don't have a problem with any of that.
I mean, I don't either. But I'm just saying, like, it's not like that. They just like they're pretty good friends.
Yeah. So. Here's the incongruent part.
They made out too.
Here's the incongruent part. Smollett is saying that he paid them the $3,500 or whatever it was for training and nutrition advice or whatever the fuck, right? But he's also saying that the attack by them was real. So he's paying them for stuff. They're attacking him in a real way that has no. How could they benefit from that?
And so, they
didn't rob him.
Have you seen? So Don Lemon's about to get fucked.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
So CNN reveals that Don Lemon warned Jussie with a text. So it's unethical behavior. And now, have you seen this deal where it's coming up, the Hamptons bartender that's suing Don Lemon?
Yeah, that's been around for about 6 months now. Nothing's happened yet. Nothing's happened from that just yet. We'll see. I mean, those things are... He said that Lemon, like, put his hand down the front of his pants and then smelled his fingers or some shit like that, which is a weird way to flirt. Because it's like, what message are you sending to the guy? Like, I'm okay with the way your dick and balls smell right now, or I like the way, or...
That's not how you picked up Brittany?
That's the way she picked me up. Yeah, but that's different when it's a woman and a man. Men and women are different.
They are?
Despite what you might hear on the news.
That's not what the news says. That's not what CNN's been telling me.
CNN's full of shit.
Well, I'll tell you where I'll see you.
Yeah, we'll see you in hell.
See you in hell.